Okay, we're back, and I think, yeah, like let's try to keep this a trend. See how this is gonna go. But seeing some of the comments and a couple of DMs that I got from you guys, I really do appreciate the acknowledgement and like some of the sympathy for just kind of these short vents. But this is gonna be a bit on a cheerier note. I hope everyone's doing well, and sometimes like after just kind of airing yourself out, it's just good to get back on the horse and just try to have fun again. So that's kind of what I planned this week to be. Today's a Monday. I hope everyone has a great start to their week, no matter what it is that you're doing or going through. I do have a lot of things on my plate at the moment, but I'm going to try and take things one step at a time. And I thought today would be fun to just try to still, off the cuff, kind of shoot the shit and just talk about some interesting things. But I do like the format, and one of my friends was telling me that he likes the format where it's just kind of like a casual, candid talk, and it's just over some art that I'm working on, which will be more relevant actually because I want to. So I'm recording this now at my break at work, but I'm gonna throw up on the background here some art of me working on. I think it should be probably page 20 of my comic. So I can show this one because it'll be safe for work. There's not going to be anything lewd. It should be on page 20, so I could show just the line work portion and roughing it out. Maybe it'll be in the background somewhere. But yeah, I mean, moving forward with things, I'm trying to draft some comic pages, kind of in the background of my brain. I've only got about no more than like 7 or 8 more pages actually planned out and prompted. So in my physical journal notebook, that's all written out and completed. It's just a matter of me taking some time to draft the pages that then go into the digital work that you're seeing being worked on now. Because I have a physical journal that I like to outline with a blue color pencil, and then I'll take a mechanical pencil and then just darken things up to just really get the feel for it. Maybe I'll throw in a snap or two of what that looks like just to show like more of the process. But I like doing the physical portion because I don't have to worry about turning on a computer or anything and just having to be tied to my desktop. My desktop is purely more for a place of like refining the work and like sitting down and dedicating like, okay, now this is going to be polished. But in terms of like making the ideas, I think there's nothing better than just journaling it. Sketchbook, duh. That's just like the best way to go about it because you can like erase, you can like smudge things, you can just redraw them, crumple it up, throw it away, and it's kind of more satisfying than just Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Alt Delete. It has a little bit more tactility to it that I think you just can't get with digital, and yeah, so that's a little bit of the background for the comic. Otherwise, I do have, okay, so I recently finishing up like the previous 10 commissions that I've done for my commission slots for like the past 2 months ago. I opened that up, and then recently I'm closing it, and just after finishing that, wasted no time at all opening up more commission slots. But there's one slight caveat. I saved the biggest commission of the previous quota for last because I only accepted one paint commission. The rest were flat commissions or like sort of one-off sketch commissions. And I love doing digital paint the most. When I get the chance to do a digital paint, I'll offer like 3 thumbnails. I'll work with the client to see what sort of flow or direction they like best. And then when they confirm a direction, I'll be like, okay, phase 1 idea generation complete. Let's go with this general thumbnail now, and like let's hash it out, and let's try to feel more of the poses, feel more of the details and the scenery that's going into the piece. Like they gave me a prompt, and I think I fulfilled the feeling that we're going for. So it's all about just kind of rendering a little bit more and fleshing out more and more of the expressions and the details of the characters and the setting. So with that said, we finished thumbnail phasing, and now I have recently sketched out the entire thumbnail and background, and they approved it. There were slight tweaks, so going and communicating back and forth with your client is super vital. I think it's kind of a nightmare if somebody were to, like, on the client or on the artist side, it's kind of both scary. Like if the if you hired an artist and they're like, okay, what's the idea? You give them the idea. A week later, they give you the finished product. It's like, I like, you kind of want as the client to see the direction that they're going in, so that in case anything is slipped up, the finished product doesn't have to be totally reworked. So just I've learned this, like, kind of growing as an artist and getting more experience with the public, that it's really important to just kind of walk along at a steady pace rather than just gun-ho finish something, unless with the exception of doing like a YCH. In that case, it's like, okay, both parties know exactly what's going to be going into the work. If you provided examples before, then you know what type of quality is going to be coming out of the artwork, so you're kind of Gucci there. As far as, yeah, being surprised, some clients, very rarely, but some of the people who genuinely love your work no matter what, those people are very special and very awesome. And they'll be like, total artistic freedom, here's maybe a general idea, maybe make it spicy or not, and I just want you to have fun. And that is a genuinely nice consideration too. And it can actually flip around, and sometimes you can have the opposite problem of having too much restrictions or too much details that the client wants to very little detail and not really knowing which direction to go. So it's often okay for the artist to request a little bit more information, a little bit more of a direction. Otherwise, you can still sketch and have fun. And I feel like, for myself personally, I like a little bit of prompt because it just sets my brain in a path already. Otherwise, yeah, again, like making YCHs, that might be the route for people to do. I've seen artists in the community specifically just do YCHs and they auction them off and they do really well. I kind of like to do just variety. So I've done one successful auction of a YCH. It was also for a digital painting, because I feel like, at least for a YCH, since I don't do it often, it's like, oh, I should just go gun-ho and just really throw the kitchen sink and everything that I have at the next digital painting. So that's how I sort of treat that. And sorry for the burring, there might be like an AC going off now. But yeah, I've already, that whirling kind of just made me lose my track of thought. But yeah, so I have that digital painting in the works right now. I am about to try something a little bit different with it, because after the sketch phase, I just go into rendering. I would throw down flat colors, throw down my values, refine it, constantly sculpt and paint, create my hard edges with my eraser tool, transform, lighting, gradient, etc. But this time, seeing an artist on Twitter, seeing them do, I've seen this before and through a lot of formal lessons, but the way this artist treated their lighting by doing grayscale first and creating these really nice muted dark values within the shadows of like the eyes or like the folds of the skin, like under the hair or something, like even like along the more anatomical, like rib cage portion or the abs, like outside of the main lighting. Oh, like that stuff. Oof, that's like the, I want to say, like, it's detailed, but it's something that really brings more life to your piece. It somehow gives it more depth to me, and just a lot of things that you don't notice, but you, like, everybody who looks at it will pick up on it subconsciously, because it's just the way that we look at light and everything. Like, there's always, like, even under my chin, there's like a dark value of the skin, but it's not black. It's clearly just more muted tone, and that's how light naturally works. But yeah, so anyway, yeah, see, like, already since I'm digitally painting, I'm already thinking about like I'm looking at stuff in real life and just trying to see like, oh, okay, I got to take note of certain highlights and certain reflected light on objects, and it just makes painting more fun and enjoyable, and it just sets me in that mood. So, what was I going on about? The yeah, oh yeah, so I'm going to try and, like, inspired by the Twitter artist, I'm going to try and just go with this grayscale painting first. It's a little scary because I haven't fully committed to a piece that's done that before, and if anything, I might just wimp out and then go back to my typical rendering style. But I want to give this grayscale painting a try so I could focus more on just my dark and light values to give a stronger contrast of light and show that I have a better understanding of that. And I think it'll give the piece just more oomph. Again, like with the digital paintings, I just want to put my best work out each and every chance that I get, because they're such large pieces that often will take me like a month to complete. I'm slow, but I'm doing my best. So there's that. And after the grayscale painting, throw on the flat colors, try to see if you can like merge it with like a lighter opacity, or I think people use just a multiply layer or a color overlay, and then you could punch it up with like another layer of like highlight values and stuff. I don't like using too many layers, to be totally honest, because then it gets more of this kind of like mechanical, like I'm switching between layers and color effects or whatever, like layer effects, and I just find that a little bit less like organic. And I'm not saying my paintings look the most traditional even as a digital painting, but I want to inch more and more towards like something that you would see on a painted canvas, because it just has like really crusty, beautiful paintbrushy textures, and that's like, oh, like I don't want something also clinical as like a very beginner artist type of flat rendering style. I don't want something where you just take like a purple color, change it to a multiplier, lower that to 60% opacity, and then just fill in the shading with that. That's not really my kind of flavor. I do a very slight amount of that for my flat commissions, but that's because that's a specific category of like rendering style that is more tuned to pumping out commissions and being steady and having a decent quality. But yeah, doing the painting, that should be done in a month, I want to say, but if I'm really dedicated, maybe 2 weeks. So I'm being a little bit ambitious and optimistic about that, because it's only the last one of my previous quota. And what's riding on finishing this is going back and getting in touch with the clients that I took on immediately, like I mentioned before, more commission slots for. So I have to go and keep them up to date on my Trello board and then hit them up. I like to keep everyone in DMs also on Telegram, so that when I start the piece, they know like, hey, I'm working on your stuff. And I think it's like a little bit more exciting to say like, hey, this is what you can look forward to. I'm going to keep you in the loop every step of the way, and everybody should be happy and peaceful. That's the hope. So with that said, comic, digital painting at the moment, and then next commission quota to look forward to. And oh, the only thing else too, I hope I finish a lot of these before my boyfriend and I have a Thanksgiving family/friends trip coming up in November. So around the 21st, I'm going to be on vacation and just exploring and adventuring and checking out the West Coast, you know, from like Oregon and Washington side. So maybe we'll poke some friends on that coast. Should be fun. That's only going to be about a week, but I think like, yeah, I've been kind of dying for a little bit more adventure and just flying somewhere. That's going to be really fun. But I hope you guys take care. That's kind of all I had to spiel about and rant as part of like a little update. But I hope you guys enjoy. And I don't know, like other artists, since my channel is not like a totally dedicated art channel, I always hear people like have a quip or something like, oh, happy painting, happy drawing. Just, I don't know, have fun doing whatever you're doing.
Hello,
and
folks.
You guys take care.
You made
have
it
a
to
nice
the end of the
day.
video,
Bye-bye.
and I wanted to congratulate you with this ad. If you want to check out more things that I do and keep up with my creative projects, you can follow my Twitter at Shikokubo. That's SHIKOKUBO. Fair warning, it is pretty Wild West up there, so whatever you see is what you get, and I'm not taking responsibility. But if you want to check out my Patreon, that's also at Shikokubo. That's SHIKOKUBO. And I generally treat it as a tip jar, so if you'd like to just throw some fun bucks my way, it goes a very long way for me, my projects, and the show. So I'll just still make this stuff, but a little goes a long way, and I really appreciate it. So I hope you guys have a great day, and take care. Bye-bye.